2 weeks ago, I uploaded a video talking about the possibility that a YouTuber might have actually been using money that he raised for charity on himself. Now, at the time, the story was kind of breaking out. Obviously, the YouTuber in question, that being the Completionist, someone who's most known for... Well, I mean, his name is in the title. He plays games until completion. He basically denied all the charges, and it felt like at the time it was more kind of just really gross negligence, because obviously he raised all this money through charities. You could buy merch, you could donate to him, and it would all go to a charity. But then it was later found out that this charity money was actually still in the account and it hadn't been moved after years. And even after the Completionist had been grilled about it, like, why haven't you moved the money? He still hasn't. But before I talk about that, I want to say, have you seen this little guy, this little fella?
Why are we still here?
We have less than 5% stock left. And once this guy's gone, he's gone. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw him against the wall like Ray William Johnson. There you go. If you don't buy him, I'm going to do that every single day until he falls apart. And of course, the link to buying that plushie will be down in the description. One of the people that has been frontlining this investigation, our very own YouTube's Cole Phelps, is Carl Jobst. If you don't know Carl, he does these amazing videos, usually looking into like gaming and kind of the speedrun community. For example, one person he has been absolutely rent-free obsessed about is Billy Mitchell, the guy that was supposedly faking his Donkey Kong world high score. So that was a completely different guy who basically said that he got the highest score in the world for Donkey Kong. And then obviously it came out that that might not be the case. And there was a bit of, you know, an inside job basically. But instead of it being the Twin Towers, it was a Donkey Kong machine. Now, Carl did cover the situation originally, even interviewing the Completionist, and also Some Ordinary Gamers was there giving a hand. But now he has uploaded another video that is called The Open Hand Charity Scam is So Much Worse. Guys, this situation is getting so much worse, which is probably what I'll call this video, to be fair. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I know I'm going on a bit of a tangent here. There's always this like wave of YouTube titles because it does well. Like, for example, back when we had like, you know, Leafy is here and like H3H3 doing commentary videos, you had like the X person ran, I don't know, the JonTron ran, the Leafy ran, the YouTuber ran. And then after a while, the title got really, really oversaturated and everyone stopped using it. And I think like for a while before that, it was drama, like huge XQC drama, huge dream drama. But then everyone started using that as a title. That got oversaturated. And apparently now the current meta is to say the situation. As long as it's something vague, you're doing all right. I just call this video, to be spiteful, I just call it like the drama situation is insane. This situation revolving around drama, guys, it's so insane. Now, in the original video, I talked about the Completionist, his real name Gerard, started a charity called Open Hand. And it was basically like a dev showcase where he was showing off games and, you know, while watching the stream and stuff, you'd probably give some money away to charity. And what I talked about in the previous video, because of tax filings, it was found out that Gerard was basically holding on to $655,520 worth of charity money. Now, that was all explained in the original video, and he even said, you know, it's waiting to be donated. I'm waiting for like, I think his cope at the time was like, I'm waiting for a big enough charity because other charities were only taking the money in smaller amounts, when in reality, he wanted to give it away as one lump sum all in one go. Now, the Open Hand Foundation, which is Gerard's charity, it runs a program called Indieland. And this is a game dev showcase, basically all for charity. And keep in mind as well that Indieland is only like one of the few events that the entire foundation runs, that there are many others. For example, in Carl's video, he actually points out that they do a variety of other things, like even golf championships. But the problem is the money raised there also seems to disappear. Now, the accusations have kind of been up in the air at the minute. Again, a lot of people are kind of leaning on it could be malicious, but we're hoping gross negligence. But from the evidence in this video, Carl, the one who's doing this expose, is basically straight up accusing Gerard's family of stealing tens of thousands of dollars from the charities that they're raising and just pocketing the money themselves. Now, Carl does bring up an interesting point because apparently there are people defending the Completionist. I didn't even know he had fans to defend him in the first place.
Fans of the Completionist who rushed out to defend him tried to claim that because Gerard hadn't spent the money, it wasn't stolen. But in my opinion, this is misguided. Not only because this argument is nonsensical, I mean, if I steal $100 from you and don't spend it, I've still stolen it. It's money you no longer have, and I obtained that money through illegal means.
And Carl makes a really good point there because, you know, like if you're giving money away to someone, to a charity, you want to hope it ends up being in that charity, not just sat in someone's bank account. And it does seem like a bizarre cope that you basically have to say the money has been taken, but it hasn't been pocketed yet. I can kind of understand where the fans are coming from. Not really, but I can kind of understand. But obviously, it has been years and years without this money being given away to any charities, which is a little bit sus. You know, not Among Us sus, just maybe a little bit sus. Among Us! 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 But on top of that as well, after the original expose, he was basically saying, yep, I'm gonna, give this all away to charity. I'm gonna be done with it. I want, the record's clean. And that never happened. And the funny thing is, if you go onto like his YouTube channel or his Twitter, it has been complete radio silence. So what's probably happened is, after realizing that the hammer's going to come down on him, he might have lawyered up. Now, one of the biggest game theories to why Carl thinks that the family, Gerard's family, like pocketing the money is because, for example, the golf championship, that was a PBD West Convenience Cup Challenge. And PBD West was a company that was founded by Gerard's father back in 1992. So again, I feel like with situations like this, you probably will never have, Gerard stick his hands up and be like, you've got me, okay? You've added all the bits together. It's not like LA Noire where you do like truth, lie, or doubt, and then eventually, through the facial animations, they'll be like, okay, yeah, you got me, I guess, it's fine.
You fuck young boys, Valdez. Are you a madman?
Or, there's not going to be a note left under his bed, just a sticky note saying, I did it, Lamau. But obviously, there are a lot of pieces coming together, and it really doesn't help that Gerard seems to be just complete radio silence. He hasn't said anything on his Twitter, like, I'm going to be, more transparent. Even the typical YouTuber apology thing of, I will do better. If you go onto his YouTube channel right now, you'll see that he's kind of just uploading normally. He hasn't done like his signature completionist episode. All the stuff he's doing is kind of off camera because I assume it dedicates less time, less energy, and the stress he's under right now, he probably doesn't really want to appear on camera. But that being said, the dislike ratios on his videos are They're terrible. Now, the earnings for the charity Open Hand are insane. I mean, for example, in 2018, they earned just over $100,000. And then a few years later, in like 2019, they made around $120,000. But that being said, Indieland is raising most of that money, around $50,000 or so. And the Golf Cup, on the other hand, is only raising around $14,000, which is really, really low compared to the averages it makes. Now, in Carl's really, really good deep dive video, he does find a couple of breadcrumbs, and there was a lead coordinator at Indieland, and his name is Michael Barrett. And he basically did a blog post of Indieland back in 2022. And he says that all the money raised basically excludes all of the extras. Like, for example, subs, bits, all the funny little Twitch stuff, merch, for example. So on top of that as well, there's a tax document that shows around, $136,000 in donations. But that doesn't include the golf money, which was around $30,000 to $60,000 on average. So it is a bizarre situation. We're not really sure if he's like, siphoning the money out slowly or like not declaring funds so he could pocket it himself. But again, this isn't like, the be all and end all. This isn't like 100% confirmed guilt. It's just really not looking good for Gerard at the minute. He really should be defending himself with some kind of video or just, film yourself walking to the bank, withdrawing a huge comedically sized wad of money, a sack of money, and then just donating all of it. Because that money you have sat in your account at the minute, if there was any inclination of you thinking you could pocket that money, which I'm not saying at all, that is hot money. That is like payday money that has been covered in the ink that makes all the notes completely useless. That money cannot be used by you now. You have to give it back to charity, which was the original intention. But yeah, what's my 2 cents on the whole situation? I don't know. Don't give money to charity.
Holy crap, I'm in Fortnite! Oh my gosh, this is so freaking epic!